single clamp. Let's just do 2 here. Let's, the next step for us is going to be a module. So can I please have somebody grab a module? We're going to have them hold it in place.
I'm presuming the wiring goes to the top.
Yeah, let's do the wiring top. I'll answer your question in a second.
Bring it in from the bottom or the side?
Let's come in from the bottom. Obviously, all these tools are going to present a hazard. Let's clear this off, please.
Okay, so we want to rotate it?
Okay, so this is going to be our end module. So let's make sure we bring it right over to the edge. We've got to have room for 3. Not quite right to the edge, but we need to have room for this in front. So you guys hold it in place because the other 2 guys on the roof are going to be placing the module clamps. These weaves don't work with these clamps. So as I said, weaves are specifically designed to fit with specific clamps. So typically you would place them underneath. They would kind of clip in place. Then you put the clamp down and fasten it down, and that's how the electrical bond is made. In this case, it's enough to know that that's how it works.
It's just the, like it's just a friction connection.
It's a bite, yeah. So if you could put that end clamp in that rail, and there's another end clamp. Can you hold that and do that? We'll obviously
Does this
want to
go
be
the other way?
squaring this.
How does this fit?
So let's get a T-square going here because the very first module is very important that it's perfectly square. Have we got another inch to play with that way? Yes, yes we do. At least that's a lot easier.
Richard, we just get a clue on here.
I got it. Okay, how are we going to do this? Okay, the bottom needs to come down. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
I think you need to spin that T-clamp. It's going to grip going this way. Go in like that.
And guys, if we can shove the module up a little bit too, remember it's got to be kind of careful.
Richard, can we have some help on this attachment here?
Sure, yeah. Okay, somebody wants the square of it?
I think
That's
get up there.
So your edges there are going to sit in the rail. It's going to run this way against that edge.
Is that right, Richard?
Yep, that's correct.
So put that point in first, and then as you're tightening it, that's going to want to turn that way, so that your angle is
that
going
good
up
enough?
against
I
your.
think this whole rack's got to go that way, maybe an inch. or
It
so.
looks like, guys, the rail is going to be a little bit too short for 3 modules. So
Oh, is it?
yeah, sure. You get the idea. I mean, we'd be doing arrays of
It just attached
30.
so that
Actually,
going that way.
you want to do
Just
rows of
its
10 if you're
resistance was
planning
the
a really
was
big
the
array.
groove.
10 arrays is 10 is probably your limit.
This edge here should be on top of that.
Thermal expansion, you have to in there. After that point, you want to break at least 2.5 inches. And if you break it,
We're having a problem with that. Check the right way.
it may be too small. Okay, so let's push the module a little bit out. It is. You're right. So every module manufacturer, again, is going to be a specific, some are 38 millimeters deep, some are 40, some are 42. So it looks like we've got an end clamp made for a 42 millimeter. So yeah. The components are very important.
Oh, so that one down there is the right height, this one's not.
Yep, so let's go grab that. Grab that.
It's still loose.
Yeah, but I think if you were going to handle it.
We don't want it finger tight?
So,
the companies make ones that are very good at going.
So what stops this module from just sliding down? At this point, you. No, they do torque down, right?
And that's enough. Wow. So there's not actual a real bolt through the panel to the rail.
Not
So
this
even at
model.
45 degrees, these clamps have enough friction in them to stop the panel from sliding down.
Don't forget there's going to be an electrical connection in there too, not that it should take long to slide. It's going to fall off. Anyways, no, they don't slide out if they're torqued properly. You need a different size one, right?
Yeah, this is.
Okay, I'm having trouble finding.
Design engineering sort of right your wind load and everything. Yeah, I would have thought there'd be like a notch or something on the bottom. What? Oh, here it is. Yeah, no kidding.
Those are in between the two.
Oh, it goes here. I can see myself in a bunch of cord. Boy, it's going to be a little bit.
Okay. So this is a roof, right? So there's no extra, that piece was part of the clamp? Yes.
And of course, with the ground there, now you got the plan.
Too small. No.
Now, would the panel be outside of that or inside of it? Just, I mean,
That's why well, you bring up a good point.
in this case, I guess.
I could push it in quite a ways.
Sure.
Now we would need to insert those,
These clamps have.
The weed.
Please?
I mean, we would need to insert something.
There we go.
No.
You would not need, okay, you can twist it inside, put it sideways, right?
Don't get too tight, we gotta slide another module up there. You ready for number 2?
So the modules, with those weaves, will they interfere with each other, or will I guess there'd be a space between the modules then, won't there?
You need a weave in there, right?
Yeah, well, we need a weave on here and we don't know where to put it. Well, how do we put it on though?
Where's it going to?
Where does it go?
Oh, it goes underneath the module frame.
Oh, right there.
The module frame is going to,
Push it down.
yes, going to push that in. So obviously these weaves are not right for this rail.
Okay.
Okay, so the first module is very important that we get it square. It's also important to think about a few other things when you're putting up the first module. You're going to want to get your wiring, you're going to get your DC leads, you're going to separate them, and you're going to start your cable management at the same time. So there's clips, little cable clips, they're going to snap into the profile of the rail, and you're going to bring your DC cable out, separate it, put it in the clips, get it ready for the next module. Next module comes down, you're going to make that electrical connection as you put the module down, because each module connects into the next in a series pattern. So it's not just slapping modules down, you're doing it very consciously of all the different components. The bonding is made easier now because we have weaves. It used to be you were doing the bonding at the same time. And microinverters are another thing. So you'll see that. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do a full microinverter installation. What we do before the modules is we'd lay out the inverters. Microinverters do need to be bonded currently. They're actually coming out with a new end phase that has an integrated ground in it, so you won't have to do that. The ground's going to be integrated right into the AC wire.
So you'll have 3
Now
wires.
don't torque that one down because we're going to be putting another module. No, you shouldn't be installing at night.
Put in there for contemplate.
Or the winter?
Somebody up on the roof here to take the next
leave that in there?
When are those grounded? I believe they are available in the US market. I think they're just That's the weave. The weave would be here at the mid clamps. You would be essentially the module itself is going to be placed on top of the weave. So the weave is going to clip onto the top of the rail. So you have your weaves laid out. You put your modules very carefully down. Boom, clamp it down. That's what bites.
And those teeth actually bite into the
They bite right into the metal. Nope. You'll see when you take it off, there'll be little circles bit right into the aluminum.
We're going to be demoing application.
We don't have these.
We don't have these weaves for this specific rail, but it's important that you see what's in the center. See how there's these little feet on here? Those would basically just sit right on the rail like that, and then the modules would go down. But this, see, you could see where weaves used to be. See these little circle bite marks? That's where the weaves used to be.
Put that back on top.
Sure. Okay, so we're clear on first module placement and also being conscious of our wiring, which we haven't separated. Let me get cable cutters. Now, you asked a good question, Felix. Can I go up first? So, you guys, Felix is asking, should we do this at night because it's safer? Because as soon as, he's right, as soon as there's light on these modules, even just ambient daylight will bring this module to open circuit voltage. So 39 approximately volts. So if we've got 12 strung, 10, let's say 10 strung in series, you're over 400 volts now, DC. So that might sound scary, but these connections, you're not dealing with bare wires. You're dealing with a listed connector. This is actually considered a disconnect switch in electrical terms. So because when these things are clipped together, you need a tool to separate them. This is actually a listed DC disconnect. So the crimp, if you cut these, like we used to actually make our own connections. You unscrew this, there's actually a physical crimp on the wire, and then this screws down on top so that this DC connection is totally hidden from your pods. You can't get electrocuted. So it is a safe way of connecting these, but it's very important to be aware when you get to the end of the row, you're going to be dealing with bare wires eventually, and that's when you've got high voltage, high DC voltage that can leak.
You can cover it with brown paper.
You can be lethally affected. So
You do something really stupid.
yeah.
Put a nail through it.
Yeah, if you're digging around in here, you see a rock in here, and you're digging around with a nail, that's DC voltage that, so these things are marked positive and negative. We're DC, right? Positive and negative is the polarity of DC. So that's, you're gonna be paying very close attention, although you do have male and female connectors that is gonna make it basically foolproof. But it is important, the polarity at the end for your connection. So, this module comes into this one, this module goes into this one. We're going to use cable clips to keep this. It's absolutely not allowed to have a DC wire lying down and lying on the surface of the shingle. These things are going to abrade over time. Guarantee you're going to have an electrical short eventually, and that could cause a house fire. So DC is your dangerous voltage. You want to always have these cables secured with cable ties, with supplied cable clips that come with the racking manufacturer. And if I've been on many installs where I'm doing the final commissioning, and the electricians will just leave wires down right on the ground here, and it's a real big pain to have them. They don't like me when I'm like, hey, by the way, every single one of those wires has to be tied up, and they do not like me. So do it as you go, because that's in total non-conformance. If the inspector, an inspector does come to to inspect your system. He sees, if he's smart and he sees a DC cable line on the roof, he'll say the same thing.
So this connection looks like it's totally weatherproof. It's waterproof.
It is waterproof when the connection's made. Yeah. Yep.
Do you guys do anything to deter squirrels and stuff from getting at the line?
That's kind of like a homemade invention. You can do kind of. You could open up